The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's session of Getting Started at Nadex. My name is Todd Rich, and I'm going to be taking you through this session today to manage expectations. I tend to do these for about 30 minutes. I try to be respectful of your time, and what we're looking to do in this session is uh, give folks who are unfamiliar or new to Nadex an introduction to our products. And I'm going to focus on binary options and knockout options. And more importantly, show you how to leverage the tools at Nadex so that you can, if you're interested, get into these markets. Now, before I actually kick this session off, I do have some housekeeping items that I do need to take care of, and they're kind of important. Uh, namely, uh, this session, as are all of our sessions, are brought to you by our compliance department. And it's important that you read this disclaimer. I am going to highlight a few things in there, namely, one, whenever you're in the markets, that money is at risk. So if you're going to get into the markets and do some trading, be sure that it's money that you have to put at risk. All trading is done at your responsibility, and all risk is your risk. The other thing that I'd like to point out today is I am going to be going through some real examples as I navigate through the platform and actually show you some of these markets and what could potentially be done. I don't want anything that I say today to be taken as a buy or sell recommendation. I am doing this strictly for your education purposes. So I think I'm going to leave this up here for just another second, and I'm going to go ahead and let's get back into the agenda briefly. Again, this is for people who are new to Nadex or don't know anything about Nadex or are trying to come back into our markets and want to get some uh, familiarity and to refamiliarize yourselves with binary options and knockout options. That's really where I'm going to focus most of my effort. We also have call spreads, and we can discuss those briefly, but this is really more of a cooking demonstration, if you will, to show you our new trading platform and some of the tools that we've got in there to help you along with your journey. Now, I will tell you, there is a questions section. I will try to answer those questions. I try to pay attention to that as I go along. But what I can guarantee you is if you type any question into that box and I don't answer it, you will get a follow-up from one of our crew. So it's a great opportunity for you to interact with us. And speaking of our crew, we are here to help you. We make ourselves available for all those folks that are new or trying to familiarize themselves with Nadex. We do these once a week. We also offer some other webinar sessions. If you go to the Nadex website and look at our webinar section, you'll see all of our upcoming as well as our on-demand recordings of educational content. It's there for you to review and binge watch at your leisure. I mean, I think a lot of people are watching a lot of things online given the current state of the markets. But that being said, if you want to take it a step further and actually interact with somebody, please give us a call. There's the phone number to call, or email us, customerservice@nadex.com. We're here to help you. We really want to help you, and if this is something where you need a little bit more in-depth discussion, or I don't get to one of your questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I'd also like to point out right now, for all you new folks, is we are running a first deposit incentive program or initial deposit incentive program where you can get a 10% bonus on your deposit up to $100. It's capped at $100. The way it works is uh, if you deposit money in your account, your trading account, within 60 days of your application, and then you do 5 trades within 30 days of your funding, you'll get a 10% bonus of your funding up to $100. So for instance, if you fund an account with $500 and you do those 5 trades within 30 days, you'll get a $50 credit into your account. You put $1,000 in, you'll get a $100 credit, but that's where it's capped. If you put 1,200, you'd still only get the 100. If you've got any questions around our initial deposit incentive program, please reach out to our customer service folks. Tell them Todd sent you. All right, now let's now that we've got some of those formalities taken away, I'd like to jump over to the platform where I can really show you. My mom is from the great state of Missouri or Missouri, the show me state, and I think it helps to be able to visualize and actually follow along versus someone just speaking anecdotally about things or using a slide deck. So here we are. And again, this session is being recorded. It will be available later. Check our website. It usually takes a day or two for us to get up there. But, I do want to encourage you, if you go up to the webinar section of our website, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and click there right now. You'll see that we've got, hey, here's this session right now. It will move to our on-demand section. And I'm going to click on demand and you can see what else is up there. I mentioned I do this once a week. On Tuesdays, we do a market update. Brian Caprice, a partner of ours, does a great analysis of what's going on in the different markets to help you find your way. And then we always or usually offer some type of other educational content, whether it's trading psychology or some other educational topic in regard to our products or some other types of trading strategies. We usually do those on Thursday. So be on the lookout. Take a look at what's coming, what's available on demand, and what's coming up. So, for instance, next week, actually, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a whole session specifically on the basics of binary options. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit today, but I'm going to do a whole session on it tomorrow. And then next Thursday, my colleague Dan Cook is going to be doing something on knockout options, and in particular to our gold and oil knockout option contracts. If you're not familiar with that, please go ahead, register. Dan's a great resource, and this is a great resource. I am also excited to say that we're going to be launching a new website soon. I know what's coming, and I think you'll like the new experience when that's up there. Let's go ahead and jump over to the platform now. I am going to go up to the login page whenever you're at, and in fact, if I'm on the home screen, it's the same login. And I'm going to always try to show you where I'm clicking so that you can track along with me so that you're not missing where I am on the screen. I click login, and I know it says join the beta. Uh, it is our new trading platform. It will move from beta to being the platform also very soon. And that's actually what I want to really show you because I think the new experience is pretty cool experience. So I'm actually clicking on join the beta. And when I get there, you can log in and this is our new trading platform. And this is what I want to show you. And I told you I'm going to highlight our products like binary options and I will go into some basics around that. Currently, we call them touch brackets, but they're really knockout options. And I will discuss that. And then I'm going to show you how to use them on the platform. So that's what you're going to get out of this session. Now let's go ahead and start out. If you've never logged on to this new platform before, or you're brand new to Nadex, it's essentially broken into 3 sections. Over here on the left, you'll have all of our markets, and we're going to take a look through that in a second. So we'll pin that up and move it to the side. Here in the center, which is really where you're going to do most of your activity, is the actual workspace. And this is where the charts will populate. And we are going to spend a bit of time on charts because I believe it is probably the strongest tool to help you in these markets, and we've got some really cool functionality in our charts. When it comes to educational content around some of the detailed functionality, we do offer sessions, and we're going to be offering more sessions, particularly around things like technical analysis. And then at the bottom is your account, your positions. Do you have any orders working? What have you done over the last 24 hours? And I'm actually going to do some things. Everything I'm doing, again, not a buy or sell recommendation, and I'm doing it all entirely. Notice in the upper right-hand corner, it says it very, very clearly in a demo account. I am doing this in a demo account. These aren't live markets. They mirror the live markets, but it's not a live market experience. If you're unfamiliar with our markets or you're unfamiliar with our platform, I would really encourage you to open up an account and get into the demo platform, because the best way to really learn is to actually click around it and play with it a bit. So let's talk about binary options first. And you'll notice when I'm up here, there are 3 different buckets. If I click on any one of them, it'll bring up the products, the markets that are available in that particular product class. Again, touch brackets, but we're going to be calling them knockouts. I am going to start with binary options. I'm going to start with binary options, and I'm going to get a little bit more into detail on what binary options are in a second. But first, I want to show you what we offer in these products, because it's a little easier to show you what they are when I go to the next step. But these products, we've got some short-term binary options. Notice they're 5 minutes. I mean, this is price action in the next 5 minutes. When I click on that, you'll see all of these are really in our foreign exchange, our FX, Forex markets, and it's what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. A lot of price action. If I wanted to see what was going on in the euro, dollar, and I wanted to make a prediction on what's going to happen in the next 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I could get into these binary markets. Short term, exciting, quick price action. In the 20-minute bucket, it's all around our indexes. What's going to happen in the stock market? Now, you'll notice that we call it the US Tech 100, but that's essentially where it is, the NASDAQ 100, and that settles to the NASDAQ 100 future. The US 500 is the S&P 500, and that settles to the S&P 500 future. The US small cap is the Russell 2000, settles to the Russell 2000 future. And then the Wall Street 30, that's the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, and that settles to the Dow Jones future. And now, instead of 5 minutes, I could say, hey, what's going to happen in the market in the next 20 minutes? And I would see the different available markets for some price action the next 20 minutes around the indexes. Sorry about that. Did not want to cough in your ear. But now I'm going to show you, because it's easier to demonstrate some of this without this huge swings in volatility and price action. I'm going to use a little longer term products. Notice that in binary options, indices, Forex, events, we've got a jobless claims event happening tomorrow where you can make a prediction around what's the jobless claim number going to be? Is it going to be above or below a certain level? We've got binaries on commodities, gold, oil, agricultural products. Okay, I just want to make sure my screen is still sharing. And I think that got paused for a second, and I apologize. Okay, I apologize for that, a little glitch. Okay, now in the binaries, let's go ahead and take a look at indices. And as I mentioned, these are a little bit longer term contracts. And about a longer term, notice that the time frames here in these different can be for a couple of hours, or daily, or out to weekly. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these so that you can get into the next step where I want to explain binary options, but I want to show them to you on our charts. So I'm going to go ahead and click on daily for the US 500. The S&P 500, what is going to happen today? When I click on that, it's going to bring up all the different levels that we've got. All right, and if you don't understand what any of this means, it's kind of cool. Once I click on one of them, and I'm just going to pick one at random, 2708. When I click on that, we are going to populate a chart. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because I want to make the screen real estate a little bit larger and make it easier for you to see, I'm going to go down here and see where it says hide. I'm going to slide these markets out of the way, and we've got a nice chart of the S&P 500. Notice when I also did that, you got an order ticket on the right-hand side. Now, what is a binary contract? Okay, a binary contract is a simple proposition. Uh, is something going to happen by a certain time? So in this one, it actually tells you exactly what it is. Is the S&P 500 going to finish higher than 2708 at the close today at 4:15 Eastern? So at the end of the trading day today, where is the S&P 500 going to be? So it helps you out. Whenever I click on any of our products, it will define it at the top of the order ticket in case you're not certain what it is that you're actually looking at. Now, the markets that you see is the market predicting at this moment in time the probability that that event is going to occur. What's the probability it's going to finish above 2708 at the end of the day? Now, right now, it's actually telling you it's around a 62% probability. I'm picking right between the bid ask spread. At this moment in time, it's the market is saying it's about 62% likely. Well, why would the market be putting it at 62%? Well, our level is 2708, and if you look on the chart, it gives you an indicative price. It tells you where it's kind of trading right now. It's trading 2711. It's above 2708. So at this moment in time, it's a little more likely that it will finish above. If I had picked a contract down that's higher, so notice there's a contract up here. Is it going to finish above 2732? All right, the next contract up, it's only giving it a 28% probability because it's got to go from 2710 where we are now up to 2732 and get above it. So it's really kind of cool how the market is telling you it's a probability of that event occurring at this moment in time. And there are things that impact that, like volatility and what time of the day. If you want to know more about that, please join my session tomorrow. I will go into more granularity on that. Now, if I wanted to trade one of these contracts, all right, and let's just say I think it's going to keep going higher, uh, I'm going to actually go up here to the 2732. When I clicked on it, it actually changed my order ticket to that product. And let's say I think the market's going to keep going higher and I think it might actually get above 2732 and I wanted to buy one of these. I simply click on buy. It's going to populate my order ticket. You can preset the quantity that you like. You can make these market order or limit orders. I'm actually going to make this a limit order because I want to show you something. I don't have to necessarily buy the offer. If I want to try to buy it a little bit lower, maybe 2875, I can actually make that my price. Actually, let's just make it 20. Yeah, let's make it 28.50. I'm going to put it down a little bit. And I can place my order. Now, again, this is a demo market. When I place that order, notice that my order went into the market. Wow, I already got filled. I actually got filled at that. I I did not. Why does it keep pausing? That's a little frustrating. I want to unpause my screen. Okay, sorry about that. It keeps pausing for some reason. That's strange. Okay, now notice though, I bought one, all right, and it told me, I'm thinking it was going to go up, not a trade recommendation, and it went into my orders, and the market did dip, and I actually got filled down below, and I see that in my positions down here. I'm actually going to shrink this. Actually, I'm just going to leave it there for a little while. Now, I want to talk more about the charts. Okay, so let's I am going to now. I know I've got a position up here at 2732, but I want to show you some other things. And I just randomly picked it. I think it was going up or going down, and that's my prediction. Now, first up, do I have to wait until expiration to get out of that position? I paid 28 and a half for one of these. And by the way, when I did that, one thing I didn't get a chance to show you was that On the order ticket itself, it tells me what my maximum loss or maximum profit could potentially be. When I each one of these contracts is worth $100 in our binaries. So when I buy one, when I pay 28.50 up here, I'm risking $28.50. Now, a binary market, if it closes above 27.32, this contract will settle at $100. If it closes below 27.32, it will settle at zero. Now, since I bought it, I needed to go higher for me to make money. If it goes lower, I know that my maximum loss is 28.50. I can't lose more than I paid. But if it were to go up above, I could potentially make 71.50. Now, the cool thing about these is I do not need to wait until expiration to get out. I still have until the end of today. Maybe I think this is going to go higher, and maybe I think the probability is going to go higher. I can put an offer above. I don't, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to sell that 27.32 contract. And notice it tells me I'm trying to sell it. But I paid 28.50. Maybe I would sell it if the probability went to 40. Okay, if I sold it up there, I can make a little bit of a profit. I'm going to go ahead and put an exit. Hey, if it pops back up, I'll take my $12.50 profit. I'm going to hit place the order, and I'm going to get an order confirmation. And notice now that I have both an order to sell this higher and my position, what I paid for it, and since I bought it, it's actually gone down a little bit. So I don't have to wait. In fact, if it continues to go down, I could choose to sell it lower and cut my losses. I don't have to lose all $28.50. I could also choose to liquidate my position and sell it. If I see that it's going lower, now we don't currently have stop orders. Those are coming, but that's actually going to lead me when I get to knockout options in a second. That's one of the cool things about knockout options. But if I'm paying attention to this market and it keeps drifting lower and I decide I was wrong, I don't have to wait until the end of the day and take all of my losses. I can certainly get out of the position early. That's the nice thing about these binaries is I can pick a direction, and throughout the day, as time moves on and as price moves around, you can choose to buy and sell these binary options and either limit your losses or take some profits. Now, on our charts, there are some tools that are available to help you do some analysis. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you some of that in the upper left-hand corner. Notice that I can always set my time interval for how I want to see my charts. Notice right now I'm using candlestick charts. Some people prefer others, but I think candlestick charts are the standard. I think that's what most people use. I can set my time frames. I can also do all of that just by zooming in and zooming out on the actual chart by scrolling. Or there's some buttons above to help you scroll. So I can scroll up and down on the chart using my scroll to zoom in or out. I can use the zoom in and out toggles, however you want to set up, or I can just choose to go ahead and set my date range. We also have a lot of technical indicators baked into the system. Now, I am not going to go through all these technical indicators. We do have some education available for you to understand what these indicators are, but if you're unfamiliar with any of them, you can always go and hover over the eye icon and it will teach you more. For instance, if we wanted to draw Bollinger Bands, I'm going to go ahead and click on Bollinger Bands and it will immediately populate them on the chart. And if I wanted to adjust, I'm going to shrink this down over here. If I wanted to adjust my parameters on that particular indicator, I could simply click on it and I could change how I want to see it. And if you're not familiar with Bollinger Bands, there is some education that's available, but then you can modify it and set them up outside of the default parameters. And that's true for all of our indicators. The other thing I'd like to point out is you can do drawings. You can put your own support or resistance lines on the chart so you can draw whatever you like, whatever patterns you like. I'm going to here, let's just pick Fibonacci retracement. People happen to like the patterns are formed in nature. They think it happens in the markets as well. I click Fibonacci retracement, and I'm going to click on the chart once, and I'm going to build out. I'm just dragging down to sort of set my levels, and then I'm going to come over to the right, and I can now fit my Fibonacci to the chart where I think it might have certain levels. And notice those are the black lines, the dotted black lines in there. I kind of fit it in. From this particular level, it's going to do the mathematical relationships, and you're going to see on these dotted black lines where, according to Fibonacci, you may see some support or resistance. So, it actually worked from this level up here where it tended to show some resistance up above. You tended to see some support at this level. Again, I'm not making a buy or sell recommendation, but sometimes these patterns do, and you're seeing a little bit of a resistance up here, and you tend to see a little support down here. And if it broke through those levels, it might be the next black line of the Fibonacci where you might move into. Notice that we also have on the blue line, on the chart, are these dotted blue lines, which are the level of the contracts. Now, I'm going to grab the chart here and, let's recenter this chart a bit. All right, click. And by the way, to do that, I clicked last price. Right? And that way I can grab the chart and move it, just because I want to remember that I had bought this contract up here. Now, kind of an out of the money, it was a low probability trade. Maybe if we get a rally, I can get out of it. I would be able to get out of it for a profit. But again, my prediction was we were going to keep going higher. And lo and behold, what happened here since we've started this webinar is the market's actually sold off some. Okay, so we have some very powerful tools on the charts to help you do your analysis. We've got both indicators that are pre-built and some drawing tools that you can then use and set the charts up the way that you'd like to set them up. To access all of these, you can also simply right click on a chart. It will bring up the same menu. You just don't have to go in the upper left hand corner. You can identify it right here in the chart. The reason I like to show this is you can save a layout. If you go to layouts and save as, I can call this Bollinger with Fibonacci, just call it with Fib. I could save it, and then I would be able to, on another chart on another day, because I got it set up exactly like I wanted, I could bring that back, and I wouldn't have to build this chart every single time. I would be able to bring that layout right back. So I've done a bit on binaries and our charts and being able to place an order, and whether it's placing an order in the middle of a market, or whether it's putting it above or below. And what was that? That was the daily, and I just wanted to see back again where I was. Yeah, the 2732. So those are binaries, and there are predictions. Yes or no. Is it going to finish above a level? Yes or no. If I think it is, I buy it. If I think it's not, I sell it. And I can take a direction and get out of the trade. I don't have to wait until the end of the day to do it. Those are binaries. I think they're pretty easy to understand, but if you want to get into a deeper dive, please join me tomorrow for an introduction to binaries where I go through that much more granularly and with much more detail. What I'd like to jump over to now, what we currently call touch brackets, but I would like to call knockouts. And the reason I like to jump over there is because it was something that I spoke about earlier is, do you like to have defined risk in your position? Here on these knockout touch brackets, I'm going to click on commodities. Let's just pick gold. Gold's a fun thing. It's a weekly contract. Again, I click on the little arrow to bring it down. And now the prices are a little different. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just pick any one of these, and I'm going to click on one. And What was I looking at? I wasn't quite sure. I'm going to hide this again, and it tells you uh, what is what is it that this contract is. You know what? Let's make this a little bit more than 1 minute. I'm going to make this an hourly. There we go, so we can see it a little bit better. My prediction, all right, is gold going to uh, I'm buying a level. So right now I haven't chosen anything, but my levels are, notice they're in the contract, 1662 and 1712. What are those levels? Those levels are your knockout levels. And what you're actually trading when you do one of these, I'm going to buy a level. So let's say I think gold is going to go higher. Okay. So I can either click buy here on the chart or here on my order ticket. And I could say I want to buy, and let's put one in 1689.20. Let's just go ahead and bid a little. All right. What am I doing? If I buy one of these at 1689.20, what could I make? If gold were to rally up to 1712, notice that's baked into my contract. All right. If it were to go up to that level and touch 1712, I would be knocked out of my trade. I bought it. It went in my favor. It went up. It touches 1712. I'm knocked out, and my potential is to make $228. Now, what's my downside? There's always a risk to it. What if gold goes lower? If gold goes lower and it gets down to 1662 and gold's going to keep dropping, all right, well, I get knocked out of my trade. It touches 1662, I'm out, and because there's 50 points in this spread, and each point is worth um, $10. Notice how the contract itself is worth $500. Our binaries, they're $100 contracts. This gold contract is a $500 contract. So notice the seller stands to make 228 and lose 272. The buyer is the other way around. Let's say I thought gold was going lower. All right, I don't think it's going up. I could choose to sell it. All right, and if I sold one of these at, let's make it 1689, or we'll sell on the offer 1689. If gold were to go down to 1662, I'd be knocked out of my trade and I would make $270. However, if it were to rally, I could and hit touch 1712, I would be knocked out of my trade and I would lose the 230. Now again, I don't have to wait until expiration to see what happens. I can pick a direction. I could pick a direction, and it would, if it were to go in my favor, I I could I could profit and to unwind the position for a profit, or, and it did it again, or um, there, I think it's going in, or if it were to go against me and I wanted to get out of it sooner, I could always cut my losses. But essentially what a knockout option is you take a direction, unlike a binary where it's all or nothing. In a knockout, one, I know if it goes against me, I know where my maximum loss is. If it goes in my favor, I know what my maximum gain is. But in the end, if I were to buy, let's say I think this is going to keep going lower. So I'm going to go ahead and sell one of these, and I'm just going to go ahead and sell the bid, place the order. Oop, you know what? It might have moved. There's my offer. Um, and there, I just got filled. So now, if gold were to go lower, let's say it doesn't get to 1662 by the end of the week, my profit would be from the 1670, 1687.30 level down to wherever it actually settles. I could still make a profit. If it were to go higher, I would lose money, but I know that if it were to go up to 1712, I'd be knocked out. I would experience my maximum loss. But if it were to keep going higher and higher and higher, I can't lose any more than what my predetermined risk was before I put it on. Now on the flip side, if it were to go lower and hit 1662, I would get my profit. Right, I would be out of the trade, and if I were to keep going lower, I wouldn't make any more. These are all binaries and knockouts. defined risk, defined reward, and they're small contracts geared for the individual investor. This one's only a $500 contract. Our binaries are only 100. Notice on our binary charts, I would like to show you that in gold, there are different levels. So you don't have to choose. I mean, I picked one on the actual chart. It shows you, and I can actually take a look at what the other levels are. So I can choose a range that suits me the best. Notice here, if I were to have sold this contract because I thought it was going to go lower, and it came up and it looks like it definitely touched it right here. If I had sold this, I'd already be out. I would have experienced my loss. Um, Now, if it would have kept going lower, um, oh well, I was playing a little too close to fire here. Maybe that wasn't the right contract for me. Maybe I choose this one if I wanted to go short, give myself a little bit of breathing room. If it were to spike up again, I'm out. But then my potential profit is a little bit bigger, all the way down to 1652. But you can actually see the knockout levels on these by clicking on the chart. You can actually see them over here. It's a nice easy way to identify what the potential trades are. And again, if I clicked on any one of these and I wanted to populate an order ticket, let's say I clicked on this one and I wanted to sell it because I did think gold was going lower. When I clicked on sell, it'll bring up the order ticket and it tells me the range. This is the 1652 to 1702. And I know I've gone a little over the half hour, but this was really what I wanted to show you, is that we do have a lot of different markets, binaries. They're all or none propositions where I can predict, is it going to finish higher, yes or no? And there's different scenarios on different products. Then we've got knockout options where you can set the parameters for your potential risk and your potential reward, and it will stop you out for a profit or limit your losses if it goes against you. And you can see what those levels are. And again, whenever you trade these products, you can get out of them. You don't have to wait until expiration to see what happens. I will mention briefly that we have call spread products. Call spreads are essentially similar to touch brackets, with the exception that if the bracket is touched, you're not knocked out of the trade. You can touch it and then potentially come back. So with call spreads, you have a little bit more time to be right. You won't necessarily get knocked out, but you do pay a premium for that. If you want to learn more about call spreads, I would say join Dan Cook next week when he talks knockouts and call spreads on gold and oil. This tool, available to everybody, it is a pretty cool tool. It's pretty intuitive to use once someone shows you some of the basics. We do have a lot of charting functionality to help you with your trading decisions. And I would like to remind everyone, again, if you've got questions and or you'd like some additional help, please reach out to us. We are here to help. A phone number to call, an email address. Uh, uh, Remember, I did mention up front that we had that first deposit incentive. If you've got any questions around that, please reach out to our customer service team. And I would encourage you, check out our on-demand webinars on our website, uh, as well as what's coming up. We're going to be building out a lot more educational content to help you with your journey, whether it's market analysis, whether it's using the tools, or whether it's product specific or some strategy education. We are going to offer it to you. And with that, again, thank you for joining me this afternoon, and I wish you all good luck in the markets.